sweet afternoon for the Cherries to turn the atmosphere sour at the Emirates as Bournemouth beat the Gunners 2-1 here. Bournemouth moving up to 9th, still dreaming of European football as Arsenal missed the chance to go 12 clear of Manchester City. A bad day at the office for Arsenal in this early kick-off here. Manchester City playing tomorrow, of course, against Chelsea. Martin, what were you surprised about with what you saw out there today from Arsenal, or did you feel like that performance was coming?
No, I was surprised that they didn't find a solution, the way that Bournemouth tactically pressed Arsenal really high from the front. Goalkeeper obviously relied on the goalkeeper an awful lot, and that there just was the duels, really. I mean, I was looking at their fullbacks. Truefair was just like a man possessed, and I wasn't seeing the same reaction from the Arsenal players.
Why not?
With absolutely no idea in terms of, I mean, obviously Bournemouth, kind of Arsenal played into their trap and then didn't find a solution. The substitutions came very early from the manager. I thought that was a real intention to change the game, but then they didn't find, Eze didn't seem his usual self, couldn't get Max Damon on the ball. So as I say, it's one of those days where it just hasn't worked, but you can't, after that body of work now, you can't throw it all away. You know, they'll be in that dressing room, there'll be some big questions, there'll be an examination of what happened today. Of course, it's not all about the opponent, but I thought Bournemouth were magnificent in the way that they played. They had that pace at the top of the team. And in the end, Arsenal have opened the Championship, the Premier League, right up now for Man City to be licking their lips.
But is the reason the alarm bells are ringing so loudly here that it's not just today? It's 3 games in the last 4, Owen, that Arsenal have been outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think you're alluding to the Cup final against City, who were brilliant. Southampton were absolutely fabulous in the FA Cup, deserved to win the game. They obviously beat Sporting, even though David Raya had a terrific game. And today they're outplayed. And you're right. I think that's probably the worrying trend, that you've been outplayed in all of those games. But you'd have to take nothing away from Bournemouth. They were fabulous today. You know, they had such energy. They were good on the ball. They had a game plan, the way to play out. If Arsenal pressed them, they went long. Their pressing themselves was spectacular, and they were clinical when they got in front of goal. I think the worry for Mikel will be that, Mark made a great point. They didn't find a solution to that press. And I think there was a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress in the crowd. You could feel it, Fletch. And
did you see that transmitting to the players, to the manager?
Do you know what, Linz? It's normal. If you're going to be in a title race, and I was fortunate enough to be in a few, there is pressure. But you know what? Pressure is a privilege. You've earned the right to be in this position, to go for a title race, to win a Premier League and a Champions League. I just thought maybe they were tired. They were a little bit too passive. Mark made a good point about the duels. They were so aggressive in Bournemouth and getting after people. And I just thought the pressure and the press from Bournemouth put so much pressure on Arsenal, and they didn't cope. And
that's where the winning goal came from for Bournemouth. It came from it came from the Bournemouth press, which as Owen has already mentioned. But it was brilliant from the very first whistle today, Martin.
Yes, but it's little bits of detail, isn't it? Where the press, every time Arsenal got the ball, and the goalkeeper, obviously, we know how adapted he is, but he's playing it out, never going really long. And they just kept picking Arsenal off. And this is a fantastic move, really. And the way that he floats through midfield, I think this one here, look, when the ball's in the air there, you just wonder when it comes in there to Lewis Skelly, look, should he really try to win that? He doesn't get there. The centre-half suddenly out of the middle. Then there's a big opening and runs off the back of Supermendy. But the composure that he shows, let's give him some credit here, gets in front of goal. He's one of the world's best goalkeepers we're talking about before the game. And that's a wonderful finish from him there.
He played fabulous, Alex Scott. So did Christie in the heart of that midfield. We said before the game they got a presence here and they got speed at the top of the pitch. One thing I would say is on that goal, we spoke about second balls and duels. They lost 3 second balls in one clip. Do you know what I mean? So and I always speak about second ball because I think they decide games. Look at this. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that allows you, and then you play. Then you got courage. Then you get runners. Brilliant run from Alex Scott. Little flick, okay? What a finish that is, by the way. And I just thought, if you compress like that, force mistakes, and then you win second balls, and then it builds confidence and it creates stress for the other team. But I just thought, as the game plan for Bournemouth was executed spectacularly well.
They pressed incredibly well, with real purpose. They passed the ball when necessary. They enjoyed the ball. And in the end, Arsenal,
they're going to do that, Bournemouth, that to expect that from them. So why was there not that adaptation there?
Well, that's the next step. That's where the time now needs to be spent on the training ground, because everybody is to blame if you're going to lose. You could say the players need to be more aroused than they were. They weren't really as physical in the duels. You could also say that tactically, the Arsenal played into Bournemouth's hands, just continually trying to play the ball out. So that I'm sure, look, it's one of them occasions you reflect. They're going to have to make sure other teams will look at it and say, okay, if we press Arsenal in this manner, and they'll have to find a solution. We could have had Havertz maybe in the first half coming into little pockets to pick up the ball when it was being, sent long. And he's the manager now for Bournemouth. All credit to him, because tactically they had too much for Arsenal
Hello,
today.
Antonio.
How are you?
Good to
Well
see
done.
you.
Well
How are
done.
you?
Antonio Raiola out to join us now after that 2-1 victory. Congratulations, first of all, today. Just sum up how pleased you were with your team's performance.
Yes, very pleased, obviously. I think very happy for the players. I think in this kind of big games, you have to rise to the occasion. I think we've shown personality, and we've enjoyed some moments also on the ball that is sometimes difficult against Arsenal, and we could finish the job, because we were coming from a lot of draws, and we always had this question mark, but today 3 points that are massive for us.
It's 12 games unbeaten now in the Premier League, which is a club record. What does that say about this group, about how resilient you are?
I think it's something to value. Past season, I think we did an amazing season. We did a run of 11 games. This season, it was a strange situation before this game, because you are coming from, I think, 4-5 draws in a row. So you are not fully enjoying it. It's like, okay, we still are there. We are difficult to beat, but I think we needed this game to put us in a better position in the standings also.
Can I just ask you about the press? Because you talk about not enjoying it. I don't think Arsenal enjoyed your press. I just thought the relentlessness of your guys' press to start the game, I think it really unsettled Arsenal. They couldn't play through the middle and then having to go longer. It was so impressive.
Yes, I think it's one of our strengths. Teams like Arsenal, United the other day, they give us chances to recover the ball. Sometimes you play against other teams that they go direct too early, and you cannot play this cat and mouse game. And against Arsenal, I think we've read good situations, and I think we were good.
Do you know what's remarkable? David Raya played the second most passes for Arsenal because they kept recycling the ball, and every time they went back to the keeper, you guys press. Everybody locked on. Is it a man-to-man press, or is it kind of a joint venture?
No, I think if you go man-to-man, they will go direct. It's a matter of cat and mouse. It's like, okay, we leave you a little bit, but then we will go, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it's you want to keep also the +1 at the back sometimes with Marcos, we were taking a lot of risks because he was leaving his position, but we need it because they are so good that if you give them a lot of advantage, they will punish you.
Just you and Mikel both coming from San Sebastian, and were you able to sort of second guess him a little bit today? I was surprised that Arsenal didn't find a solution to your press. The amount of times they went back to the goalkeeper, were you surprised in some ways?
No, I think they are so good, and we were pressing well, but they were still sometimes finding ways to get through our press, and that's why they are big teams.
That's
they
his
are confident, yes, and sometimes it's a matter of a duel, 1 against 1. The rebound goes for you, okay, it's a chance, but if you lose that rebound, it's a chance for them. So it was a high-risk, high-reward game, and in most of the situations, because I think my players have won a lot of duels, we were the ones not benefiting more.
For the Alex Scott goal, had you given some kind of message to him at the end of the game to get slightly higher, because his role seemed to change slightly?
I think Alex Scott is in a beautiful spot. I think has played for us as number 10, as number 8, today as number 6. He has added to the ability that he has on the ball a lot of defensive work, a lot of duel winning, and we know if we give him good options on the ball, space to carry the ball, arrivals, he will give us this. But I'm very happy because he's becoming a very, very complete player.
And it must have been a big disappointment for him to be left out of those March internationals. But you must be delighted with the way he's responded to that, because he just keeps pushing and giving Thomas Tuchel food for thought.
Yes, I think from his side he cannot do a lot more. He's playing so well, but also I understand, because in this country you have so many good players that sometimes to be at your very best level is not enough, because there is someone also performing very well, and I suppose every time, Thomas has to make a call-up. It's very difficult because there are so many good options, but I'm sure he will continue the same way and he will finish strong the season.
How are you feeling now then about your chances of European football? Because you're just 1 point behind Brentford now, and possibly 8th place could do it as well.
Yes, I think it's going to be difficult because we are a lot of teams in kind of 2-3 points. So even we were getting some draws, some wins, and we were losing positions. You know, there are a lot of teams now in a great run. Everton, Brentford, Brighton is recovering, Sunderland, Newcastle will arrive there. You know, it's whoever finishes in a good run of results is going to probably take the reward, but I hope we are there until the end.
And a long trip to Newcastle next as well, but you've got really good memories of heading there last season.
Yes, I remember that game very well. We played it really well, but it's a very difficult matchup. We played against them in the Cup recently. We lost 3-3 in penalties, but also it's going to be like today. We will go against them, high rhythm. They will do the same. They will press and quite open game, and let's hope we are ready again to go next week.
Andoni, thank you very much for coming out to chat to us.
Okay,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Well done. All the best.
Well done.
Okay.
Well done. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Just how in demand is he at the moment, do you think?
God, he's impressive, isn't he? I mean, you know what I like about him? He's so chilled. He loses almost his whole defence. Sell his whole defence to some of the best teams in Europe. Didn't complain once. Think about how many managers have complained over the years.
Yeah.
He's in his demeanour on the side. He was so chilled. The game plan in terms of with the ball, without the ball, so impressive. Nobody's going to want to play these guys, by the way.
No, but you know, he's so calm, isn't he? But if you think, like, if a team was ever a reflection of somebody, you see them in possession, that's his personality off the pitch. But when the players get into the tackle, they're so competitive. And I think under the surface, we were very close to him on the sideline. He was arguing every decision. He's really competitive. He wants to win something. You know, whether he goes back to Spain, you know, I think he's really in demand. And the way he's developed all of these players, suddenly everybody wants to buy his players. It reflects really well on him and as a club.
And they could have even more say in this title race as well, because Manchester City still have to play them.
They do, Lindsay. They do. And
I'm just trying to make you feel better.
This pressure is just not exclusive for Arsenal. You know, I mean, Rory McIlroy suddenly playing incredible golf right now, because obviously that pressure's been taken off his shoulders, and the Arsenal players are going through that right now. They've got to find a way. As I say, tactically, they have to find a way, and psychologically, does it change now in some way? Does City suddenly feel that they're the favourites, as that's where it is? So, you know, whatever you do now, you have to bounce back and stick together as a group.
And you spoke to him there about the way his team pressed today as well. And we've already touched on Arsenal just not having the answers to that today, Owen, and just how many times that ball went back to David Raya today. How frustrating was that to watch in that situation?
Do you know what? It's a current trend, a modern trend, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of it. Do you know, the ball goes back to the goalkeeper all the time, and for a team that presses as good as Bournemouth, all you're doing is inviting them pressure. David Raya received 38 back passes today. 38.
It's just playing into their hands.
And this is one of the best pressing teams in the country, so that allows them to squeeze up. I mean, that is quite a remarkable start. David Raya played the second most passes in this Arsenal team today. Only Declan Rice played one more. So why would you... Look, and he's brilliant with his feet, by the way. But why would you encourage that? And then the crowd gets a little bit nervous then. And then it was really interesting what he said there, Martin, about it was a bit of a cat and mouse, you know, and they were trying to force him.
Yeah.
But David Raya in the second half played a couple passes which, even though he's brilliant with his feet, was high risk. And I think I think the manager, Iraola, knew that. And again, I think just get the ball forward quicker, get it into the channel, win duels, and then win second balls, and then you get up the pitch a bit quicker.
The issue for Arsenal is that they fix the play. That's what you're trying to do at any point. You know, there's restarts, goal kicks. You fix the play, and the picture never changed. Arsenal then couldn't develop the play into their midfield players. Even when Downman come on, we're all screaming, give Downman the ball, but they didn't have enough good control of the ball in the midfield, and that is all down to Bournemouth. And, of course, Arsenal then not mixing up their game enough.
Yeah, a 2-1 defeat today for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta came out with the rally cry yesterday to the fans, but his players did not perform at their top levels today, and they've missed that chance to go 12 points clear of Manchester City. The title race is on, and we'll hear from the Gunners boss next.